Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday edition of the Morning Motivator. Hopefully the slide is up. I've refreshed it about a dozen times, so hopefully it's up. Today is Traditional Thursday. We've had a little bit of tradition here.
Your mic's too high.
Oh, I'm too hot. One moment. There we go. Is that better? Wonder why it's so hot today. That's kind of unusual. But hopefully we're okay. The bears are here. Hi. The lucky bears. This is a little chain my granddaughter made me. I love my little trinkets. This is a little, I'm not even sure what you call it. It's a good luck charm, something like that, that's from somewhere over there. It's Thursday. We got home late Monday night after a long drive. Tuesday was kind of like I don't know, it's that one day that you're kind of winding down, getting back to normal. Yesterday we had our grandson all day, which, I mean, he's certainly not any work. He's a joy to have around, but it's still work. As a grandparent is work. I have to turn it down a little bit more. Wow. That's kind of weird. I should go check my settings. I'm not sure why it's so hot. Silly computer. Anyway, today and then Dawn's daughter Cassie and her partner Scott came last night, so it was their night to overnight with us on their way to work, and so Dawn was up at 4 o'clock this morning. I slept in, thank you, Dawn. Which was really nice. However, I don't really feel like I did. I'm still feeling kind of off. But amazing. I feel really amazing. I don't know about you guys. I find that more and more, I'm almost giddy, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what situations happen, I've discovered that life is pretty awesome, isn't it? Regardless of what's going on around you. Yesterday, we had plans. The day was going fairly well, and then it just kept getting added to. And Dawn went to help my daughter. He was going to take a trailer full of stuff to the dump, and on his way there, he got stuck in traffic because there was a fatality accident on the highway, and so he had to detour off. It took him an hour to go a 20-minute distance, and so he wasn't able to go and run to the dump because the time was out. However, it's like everything else. Like you take advantage of that time. He got to meet some people he'd not met before, and I mean, really, you could say it was a waste of a couple hours because he didn't get anything done. However, that's not how you look at it, right? It is what it is, and it is how you look at it. It is the attitude you take on it. It is just how you feel inside. If you're just look at everything and you just giggle about it, and you think, wow, that's, life does go on around you. Other people are on different missions. Remember that. Not everyone is on the same journey as you. In fact, very few are. And we have to recognize that we're in and amongst different journeys, and we experience things, and when you experience an accident on the highway, it reminds you to be aware. It reminds you to slow down a little bit, or just to be more aware. You know how it is when you're driving. You can get distracted in your driving, right? It's like you go there, and you're not. Sometimes you get from point A to point B, and you're not sure how you got there. You get there, and it's like, I'm not sure I remember even driving here. They call it road hypnosis. And you're aware, but you're not in the moment. And, that's what all of this has been about, everything we've been talking about, living in the moment. It's what this mindfulness for beginners is about. It's, the power of now, living in the now. Everything is about the moment and really being more aware of what's going on right now. For me, it's a challenge. I'll admit it. It's a real challenge to stay in the moment. It's not a challenge to feel good. I've kind of mastered that one. And I can get myself up pretty high no matter what the circumstances. I can just, you know, get myself out of whatever I've gotten myself into if I've gotten myself into something. And it's, you know, I'm finding I'm getting better and better at that. But I find that as the day goes, you know, I get busy doing things. I tend to multitask. Any multitaskers out there? It's a real challenge to just be in the moment with whatever you're working on and fully in the moment. And that is what I'm practicing. We have been reading Ask and It Is Given. Deborah's been away for a while. Glad to have you back. Learning to Manifest Your Desires by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a must-have book. The Attitude of Gratitude. That's right. The crisis stuff. Well, and it's not even that it doesn't matter, Deborah. There are lessons to learn in every crisis. Crises happen. I mean, we live in a world where we're all getting along together. We're all co-creating together. We all have different thoughts. I mean, we're just everywhere. And magic happens when you get into your own world and you start delegating what's going to happen in your world. It doesn't mean stuff doesn't happen out there, but it really stops happening to you. It's quite amazing. Anybody here notice that? That for the most part, it's like you're in a little bubble. Don and I, for the most part, live in a bubble. And there's stuff goes on out there, but it doesn't, you know, it's, I don't know. Hard to put words on it. And it's because we choose to be happy in every moment of our lives, and we just live in this now. It's like being on Groundhog Day, one of my favorite movies of all time. Bill Murray's hilarious and everything. We are on chapter 18, page 91. This is a very short chapter. And yes, I agree that this book is a book that everyone should have. It's one of the best books of all time. I think it's a book that needs to be in your library. If you don't have it, you need to get it. An absolute must-have. And why do I think it's a must-have? Well, this is our third reading through it. It means it's my fourth reading through it because I read it before we read it on the call. I find this book, the message in here, so simple, so profound, so right. And then, when you get into the games, and you really start practicing the games, when you play the games and you get your mind thinking in a different way, you really do start getting to the point where you can just, you know, go like this and things happen. Now, you know, I could throw a question out there and say, okay, well, we're all mastering this. How come, you know, we're not just snapping our fingers and $1 million is dropping in our laps? Anybody have the answer to that? I don't think any of you have mastered that art yet, have you? Of getting $1 million or $100 or $100,563.29 to drop in your lap. Snap, drop. Does anyone know the magic answer to that? Why is it we have not manifested our beach house yet? Why is it we have not manifested some of the things that we say we want, some of the things that we really, really want? It's because we still have resistance. We're not allowing it in. We think we are. And for the most part, we're practicing. Our focus is a little off. That's right, because we're focused on the lack of it. That's right, we have resistance. We're still resisting it. It's there. It's there. It's so close. You can probably smell it. It's so close. And yet it's not there. It's just that little bit out of reach. Right? Why? Because we have resistance. Right? Whatever it is that you have, that you want, you can have. However, if you focus on the not having of it and what it was like to have it and woe is me, in our instance, one thing we could focus on a lot is the real estate experiences we've had up until now. They've not been good, but that's okay. I get it. I know why now. It's easy to look back. It's easy to change things. You just by focusing on now and focusing on the feeling of what it is you want. let's read about you can gradually change your vibrational frequency. This is an important chapter. Really understanding where your frequency is now and understanding you can change it at any time, at any moment in time. You can change everything. If you really want to, if you really choose to believe it, and you practice the idea of it. And I don't mean practice it for 5 minutes. I mean commit to practicing it all the time, to becoming your own worst critic, shall we say, to getting to the point where you hear yourself say something and right away you're going, oh, there it is again, and you just change it. You go like that. You don't beat yourself up, you just move in that new direction. That's where we're getting to. Page 91. Just because you make the decision to find a different thought, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can go directly to that thought right now. The law of attraction has something to say about the thoughts you have access to from where you are. Of course, there is no thought that you cannot eventually have, just as there's no place you cannot eventually reach from wherever you are. But you cannot instantly jump to a thought that has a vibrational frequency very different from the thoughts you're usually thinking. Does that make sense? You can't go from here to there unless the vibration is right. You got to change that dial. You got to move up to that vibration. Does that make sense to everyone? You get the vibration thing? It's great to have a thought of it, but are you in vibrational alignment with the having of that thought? Are you more in vibrational alignment with the lack of it? Sometimes one of your friends who is currently in a much better feeling place than you are may encourage you to stop thinking so negatively and choose more positive thoughts. But just because your friend is there in that better feeling place does not mean that your friend can bring you there. For the law of attraction will not allow you to find a vibrational frequency that is far from the frequency that you usually sustain. And even though you do want to feel better, you may not feel that you can find the joyful thought that your friend wants you to find. But we want you to understand that you can eventually find that thought, and that once you have deliberately and gradually changed your vibrational frequency, you will be able to sustain that more positive position once you do achieve it. As you discover that you can always know the vibrational content of your being, and therefore always be aware of what your point of attraction is, you will then be in conscious creative control of your own experience. And once you understand that your emotions are giving you specific feedback about your vibrational content, then you can proceed with the deliberate and gradual adjustment of your vibration. Vibrating at a higher level. It's like, what are you talking about in your conversations with your friends, with your, people that you meet, new people, conversations you have. People have conversations. You might, that's why people listen to the news and get educated so that they can have conversations. So what are you having conversations about? Are you talking about all the amazing changes in the world and how people really are thinking differently and how business is amazing and when one door closes, new door opens? Or are we talking about politics and, oh, that one hurts, doesn't it? Abraham loves to talk about politics. Not. But there's things that you might talk about when you hear the news. You can get really wrapped up in the negative part of the news. So yesterday, sadly, there was a fatality on the road. And, in my mind, when that happens, I like to hear a little bit more about the circumstance so that I can send well wishes to everyone that's left behind. And it appears the fellow that was in the accident had a medical something wrong with him, and who knows what that was. It was a quick way for him to transition somewhere else, and I know that he's in a good place. That is one thing I know. And what I also know is that we have to we still have to feel the feelings. And we can't just say, I don't feel those feelings. And yeah, I understand this, and I understand that, and I understand all this, what we're talking about here with people transitioning over and where they are and things are good for them. And I get all that. That doesn't change how we feel as human beings, because as human beings, we have emotions, thank God. We hurt. We miss. We have to get back to that vibration. Reach for the best feeling thought that you have access to. And I want to say a special hello to, I'm not sure who just came in here, Teresits, not sure of the name there, but Francis, welcome. Great to have you here. I understand Carl invited you, so I'm excited to have you with us. And welcome to Teresits. Great to have everyone here. We're just about 15 minutes away, well, 13 minutes away from our meditation section. We're reading our favorite book, Ask and It Is Given, by Esther and Jerry Hicks. We are on page 92, reaching for the best feeling thought you have access to. That's an important title. Reach for the best feeling thought that you have access to. So it's not about reaching for a thought way out here to pull you up there. It's about reaching for a thought that feels better than where you are right now. And little by little, pulling yourself out. Let's read from the book. Choosing a different thought will always produce a different emotional response. So you could say, I will deliberately choose my thoughts so that I can feel better. That would be a good decision for you to make. And an even better decision, and really an easier one to make. I want to feel good. So I will try to feel good by choosing a thought that does feel good. If it's your decision to follow your bliss, and you've been focusing on a life situation that is nowhere near your bliss, your decision to follow your bliss would be unsuccessful, because the law of attraction cannot deliver a thought that holds such a dramatic vibrational difference. But if your decision is to reach for the best feeling thought that you have access to, that decision can be easily achieved. The key to moving up the vibrational emotional scale is to be consciously aware of, even sensitive to, the way you feel. For if you're not aware of how you feel, you cannot understand which way you're moving on the scale. You could be turned around and on your way back to Phoenix and not even know it. But if you take the time to consciously determine the emotion that you're currently experiencing, then any improvement in your feeling means that you are making progress toward your goal, while any intensifying of the negative emotion means that you are going in the wrong direction. So a good way to feel your way up the emotional scale, the vibrational emotional scale, is to always be reaching for the feeling of relief that comes when you release a more resistant thought and replace it with a more allowing thought. The stream of well-being is always flowing through you. The more you allow it, the better you feel. The more you resist it, the worse you feel. Feelings are, they're a very personal thing, aren't they? And it's really about understanding that when you're having a discussion, let's call it a heated discussion with somebody. Anybody here ever have a heated discussion with someone? When you're on opposite sides of a topic? You get very passionate about it. Now, there are two ways to have a heated discussion. It can be a proper debate where you're sharing ideas and you're interested in the other person's ideas. Isn't that interesting that they think that way? That's not usually how it is, though, is it? We're there to prove our point. We're there to make our point. We're there to change their minds, have them think more about what we're thinking about them, and we want them to think more about our idea, and we're right. And how can they think that way? And that's where the challenge is. The challenge is in not having the heated debate, but having a discussion and being open and listening to the other point of view and going, Interesting? Here's how I feel. Isn't that interesting? We think differently, and here we are in the same room, and we can have a conversation about it. Isn't that cool? Because I can tell you that you can feel when the energy you have is not right. You can feel it when you're having a discussion, your body's all tense, and you can almost feel angry, like you can't get your point across. Yeah, I usually agree to disagree. Don will tell you I'm not one for a heated discussion at all. I'm at the point now, I don't like it when I get frustrated. And I'm learning ways to reverse that, to reach for better feeling thoughts so that I can relieve the frustration quicker. It's practice. It takes practice. Number one, it takes recognizing that feeling, and that's the challenge. Would you guys all agree the challenge is recognizing the feeling in the moment, in any moment, like right now, just being able to say, I'm having this conversation with somebody, and part of me is enjoying the conversation, but I can really feel that I can feel that tenseness. Maybe I need to take this conversation down a different path. Because I got to tell you, and it sounds kind of hokey pokey, right? And like, you know what? You can have a heated discussion. People are going to argue. You know, we're all different personalities. But at the end of the day, it's about feeling good. It's about feeling amazing. It's about getting your vibration to a point where you feel good no matter what, and you can look at other people. You can smile when they get angry. You can kind of laugh at it, even laugh at yourself. And in our book, as we move further on here, we're going to get to our emotional scale, and that's on page 114. And we're getting very close to the end. Tomorrow is chapter 19. Only you can know how you feel about it. There are 22 chapters in the book. And then we get into the different games. So we're going to talk about the different degrees of your emotional scale. And then we're going to get into the 22 games. And we're going to learn to play our way into feeling good. We're going to learn to just let things go. We're going to learn to feel it here and not look out there, because that's the challenge. We see what other people do and then we feel terrible, or we take it on, but if we don't recognize we're taking it on, we can't change the way we look at things, right? Claudia says, my daughter and I are a perfect example. I have to tell you, the other day when I picked her up, she was very mean to me. I finally asked, what is really bothering you? And she told me it was work. There you go. So you recognize, and Claudia, how amazing is this? You recognize that her habit when she isn't feeling good is to take it out on you, because that's just what she knows. It's what she's done all her life. And you recognize there's something going on here. I recognize you're being angry at me. What's really going on here? What is really bothering you? I don't think it's me. How odd, isn't that nice? And then she was able to talk about work and go, oh. Little by little, isn't that amazing? And that's a big step, isn't it, Claudia? In fact, that's a huge step in the right direction. Number one, for you to be able to say that. Number two, for her to open up and go, well, you're right. Yeah, work's bugging me, and I'm just being angry, because that's her habit. That's all she knows. It's the only way she knows how to respond. And until we learn a different way to respond to situations, we respond the way we usually do. But you opened the door for her to open up. You've been opening the door for quite a while. And eventually they're going to come in. That's just what happens if you keep opening the door. What happens, though, is we sometimes get frustrated because we're always opening the door and no one is coming in. And so eventually we think, well, I'm just shutting the door. I'm not going to leave it open anymore. And that takes you down the wrong path. I hope you guys understand that. Your door is, well, it's not even about you giving up. There's nothing to give up. We don't give up on people. We need to be better. We need to be better listeners. We need to be better at just letting things go, at not taking on other people's problems, and simply allowing them, not allowing them to treat us in certain ways that we don't feel is right. And sometimes that takes a while because we have habits. It takes a while to help others change their habits, and they can't change their habits until you let go of yours. She probably needs lots of things, Claudia, and all you can do is just be there and be the example for her. We can see in others. We can see in others what they need. Goodness gracious. Or I see it in all my kids. I mean, I got some pretty amazing kids, and I listen to them talk, and I just want to say, you know, did you just hear? I want to record everything they say so I can play it back and say, if you were to change those words, things would change for you. Do you see what you're focused on? But when you have a conversation about it, they're going to say, that isn't what I'm saying. So you have to catch them right in the moment. Say, see, did you hear what you just said? Positive energy. We have to be focused on positive energy. Some people give off toxic focus because that's all we're looking at, Carl. And that's the other little secret here, is that you're going to see what you're looking at. And yes, some people, their behavior is pretty obvious, so it's hard to see beyond the behavior, but it's not possible. I mean, it is possible to see beyond the behavior, to understand that behavior is habit due to an environment that that person came from. We don't know what another person is going through. We don't know what they're thinking. We don't know what they're feeling inside. We don't know what experience they're having in any shape or form. We just see their behavior, and we think it's wrong. And who are we to put judgment on anybody else? Unless somebody asks you to help them see themselves, Deborah, that's not your job. Your job is to see them differently. Your job is not to see what you are seeing that's wrong with them. Your job is to see something right about them. Yep, and your job is to feel better about yourself. That's it. Your job is to find a feeling good place, and if you're in a situation with somebody that doesn't feel good, then get out of that situation. Do something to change the situation. You can't change people. They will change if they want to change. As they observe you, it only makes sense that they're going to want to be more like you. Happy. You're always happy all the time, damn you. Tradition is the illusion of permanence. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. You guys all know that. And you guys all know that it doesn't matter where you are in this world, where you are in this physical place, you can do anything you want. Anything right from this moment. If you were to just take the time and stop looking at what everyone else is doing and the faults of everybody else, if you would just stop in for a moment and just focus on you. Focus on the field. Where is it you want to go today? Francis says, if you don't raise your voice, it seems to control the situation. Well, it helps the situation, definitely, Francis, if you're the calm person. But if you get heated and you get into the discussion and you get right into it and your body's all tense, there's nothing good happening there. It's time to meditate, my friends. Do we have a preference today? Let's start. So Francis, we do a 15-minute guided meditation and Tara sits. So we're going to go for 15 minutes into a guided meditation. We have 7 of them. 4 of them are Abraham, general meditation, physical, relationships, and money. And then we have Lori Granger. We have sitting with breath, be present, and let go. Does anyone have a preference today? Money. She's right out the gate. Personally, I haven't listened to money in quite some time. Oh, we got 2 money. There we go. All right, that's it. That's enough for me. You're both right out the gate and pretty fast, so we're going to do some financial meditation. Now, all I want to say for our new visitors today, I'm going to take a moment to explain that there's a definite beat to this meditation. The beat goes 3 beats to inhale. So the music, you'll feel the beat of the music. There's a definite beat. Once you get the beat, it's 3 beats to inhale, 5 beats to exhale. Esther, every once in a while, will say breathe in, breathe out. Just sit back, relax. Best to close your eyes. Let the words of Esther just flow through you. Let the music flow through you, and breathe.
We are going to stand for a while in your physical shoes and speak words that are of greatest advantage to you. Breathe in, breathe out. We want to help you find the vibrational stance to allow financial abundance to flow into your personal experience. Breathe in, breathe out. The stream of abundance flows generously, and it is right and it is time for you to receive your share. This will not be difficult for you to do, and it will not take much time, because you are already well along the way. Breathe in, breathe out. There is power in the words that you are hearing, and in time your resistance will subside and your allowing will begin. As your resistance is replaced with allowing, as doubt is replaced with belief, your abundance will become evident. Breathe in, breathe out. Our words will help you to shift your feeling about money from worry or concern to eagerness and fun. Breathe in, breathe out. When that emotional shift occurs, immediate financial manifestations will be the evidence of that shift. Breathe in, breathe out. If we can convince you that the path to financial abundance is simply an emotional path, with each hearing of these words, you will breathe out more resistance, and your feelings will improve. Breathe in, breathe out. Your work is not one of action. There are no courses to complete. There are no requirements for you to meet. Just a comfortable and gradual rediscovery of your natural state of relief and of ease and of well-being. Breathe in. Breathe out. You are never deprived when someone else gains, because abundance expands expands proportionately to match desires. Breathe in. Breathe out. When the success of another makes your heart sing, your resistance is gone, and your own success soars. Breathe in. Breathe out. The fastest way to get to an improved financial condition is to look for pleasing things that you already have. For in the seeking and finding of that which is working, more success will come, and it will come quickly. Breathe in. Breathe out. While your life will continue to call more abundance to you, the majority of that work is already done. And now, with far less effort than you have been believing, your financial condition is about to improve. Breathe in. Breathe out. Financial abundance does not occur in one's life because of hard work, or good luck, or favoritism. Financial abundance is simply the universe's response to consistent thoughts and feelings of abundance. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you are able to accomplish the feeling of abundance before the evidence has shown itself to you, the evidence must come and will continue to come as long as you maintain the feeling of abundance. Breathe in. Breathe out. Anytime you are feeling good, no matter the reason, you are accomplishing the feeling of abundance. Breathe in. Breathe out. In your absence of resistance, everything that you have asked for is making its way right to you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Each time you focus upon these words, your resistance becomes smaller and your allowance becomes greater. With each passing day, your vibrational point of attraction will change until there will be an obvious tipping point. Breathe in. Breathe out. For a while, the only evidence of your financial progress will be your improved emotional state of being. And if you will let that be enough, keeping no score of financial progress, the financial improvement will show up. Breathe in. Breathe out. We are so pleased to have this opportunity to express to you our appreciation for all that you are. We want to let you know that it is our absolute promise to you that the abundance you seek is coming. Breathe in. Breathe out. You are doing extremely well. Abundance is flowing to you. Relax and enjoy the unfolding. Breathe in. Breathe out. For what is, and eagerness for what is coming. There is great love here for you. Breathe in. For the next few minutes, letting the music guide you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Let me read what Deborah says here. I have a friend, and she wants me to ask you how to use the law of attraction to start her retirement. She has a successful business she needs to sell before she can start her retirement. What should she do to get where she wants to be? Well, actually, that one is really simple. Does she focus on the sale of her business or what she wants after it? All that was just what I needed. Okay, so here's what I'm going to recommend, Deborah, is that number one, what does retirement look like to your friend? It sounds like she's pretty excited to retire. So she needs to have a nice clear picture of what retirement looks like to her. What is she going to do with her retirement? Where's she going to go? Get a clear picture of that. Write it down. Feel really good about that. And then trust that the universe is going to bring everything to her. Now, in order to retire, she already knows she needs to sell her business. So she also wants to visualize a very successful sale of her business. Getting top dollar, people just really wanting to be, I mean, she has to think about all the amazing reasons people would want to buy her business. I don't know what her business is, but I mean, if someone has a business and it's a viable business, there's a buyer out there for it. And so she needs to visualize the sale, the successful sale of the business. And then she needs to go about her day feeling amazing. Not worrying about the sale of her business, not saying, oh my God, what if the business doesn't sell? I can't retire. She needs to go about the day thinking, my business is going to sell. I have the best business in the world. People are going to be excited to hear that my business is for sale. I'm looking forward to retiring. It's going to be so fun to retire. I love what I do. So she just needs to, does that help, Deborah? She needs to focus on what retirement means, and she needs to focus, have a really clear picture of a successful sale of her business. That's all. No one knows her business better than her. If it's successful, she should have no trouble selling it, and she just simply needs to visualize it being a successful business that people want to buy, and that people will buy. It buys, it sells. She can see it sold. She can visualize them signing the papers, making the deal, and then her going off on her retirement and being able to enjoy all those cruises rather than selling all those cruises. So whatever she wants. Just pass that on. If she can come to our call, that would be awesome. I highly recommend Deborah. Tell her to get this book. Okay, the processes at the back of the book will also help her to get everything done in a day, to help her understand the law of attraction. She can get the book, The Law of Attraction. Here's what it looks like. The law of attraction. The basics. This is really understanding what it means. But at the end of the day, it's about having a clear picture of what you want, what you need, how it's going to happen. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. The universe will take care of that. You simply need to see the end result and feel the amazing feeling of it. Because when you can feel amazing all the time, that's when magic happens. When you can look at a situation and be affected by it and feel sad or have that emotional response, that's normal. When you can take that normal emotional response, understand it, and be appreciative of it, that's when magic happens. That really is when magic happens. Magic is what it's all about, right? We can all create magic, every single one of us, every person here. I love the quote from Abraham today, and I want to read it to you. Even in your rightness about a subject. Okay, I'm going to come back here before I finish reading this. Anybody feel right about a subject? Anybody here feel right about a subject? Oh, excellent. And what's her name, Deborah? I think you told me. Is it Jeannie? Is it Jeannie? Just a big shout out to Jeannie. Welcome, Jeannie. Great to have you on our call. I'm excited that you're listening to us on the phone. What ingenuity from Deborah. Thank you, Deborah, for inviting Jeannie. I'm really excited. I feel like we're on a radio show. That's kind of cool. We'll have to maybe think of taking our show on a radio show. Wouldn't that be cool to have a Morning Motivator radio show? I think that might be neat. I think we can do it at the same time, too. You love my teddy bears? I love my bears. They're probably going to change soon. I do that every once in a while. I switch them up. Jamie is almost always on the call. He is my very first bear that started my collection. I'm looking forward to being able to bring more of my bears out. They're in boxes. We're going to be packing up soon, getting ready to move, and I'll be, checking out my bears. My grandkids will probably get some of my bears when we go, but I'm looking forward to having them out again. I have some pretty amazing bears that I've collected over the years. Yeah, warm and fuzzies. I love that. Oh, let me go back to the quote. All right. You guys ever feel right about something? Is there ever something you get in your craw that you're right? Like you're right. That's it. You're gonna fight your rightness to the end and you're gonna prove your point. My goodness, I'm right. Even in your rightness about a subject, when you try to push your rightness toward another who disagrees, no matter how right you are, it causes more pushing against. In other words, it isn't until you stop pushing that any real allowing of what you want can take place. I don't know about you guys, but that was huge for me. I'm going to read it again. I want you guys to really, really listen to this, okay? This is huge for me. Even in your rightness about a subject, when you try to push your rightness toward another who disagrees, no matter how right you are, it causes more pushing against. The more you try to convince somebody about how right you are, you're just pushing against. In other words, it isn't until you stop pushing that any real allowing of what you want can take place. You don't even have to agree to disagree. You can just agree that we all have different points of view and it's okay. You can still be right. The other person's right too. That's the beauty of the universe. We can all be right. Sometimes we're more right than others, and that's okay. It's not in the rightness, and it's not even in the degree of rightness. It's not in the rightness or wrongness. It's in allowing it to be different. Regardless of how right you are, it's allowing it to be different. It's just saying, okay. Yeah, it's a difficult one. That was a big one for me today. Don will tell you, when I'm right, I'm right. If I say I'm right, don't argue with me. Because if I say I'm right, I'm 100% sure I am right. And very rare, if I absolutely say 100% I'm right, very rare am I wrong. Very rare, because I know I'm right. If somebody asks me for an answer to a question and I say this is the answer, that's the answer. Right? But that was big for me today. I don't need to prove that. I don't need to prove that. Permanence is really a mindful thing, isn't it? Mindfulness for beginners. I've opened the book to the chapter I'm on. I had pulled it out of the car. It was one of the books on Super Soul Sunday, John Kabat-Zinn, Mindfulness for Beginners. I don't know how beginnerish this is, I got to tell you. That's a good one. On page 70 of the book says, you are never not whole. You are never not whole within any turmoil and fragmentation that we may be feeling when we begin to examine our lives and our minds with greater clarity and inquisitiveness. We may also find a long ignored and frustrated yearning, a longing to live a more integrated life, to experience non-fragmentation for a change, to be at home in our own skin. Who doesn't long for that kind of peace and well-being? It almost brings tears to my eyes. A longing to live a more integrated life, to experience non-fragmentation for change, to be at home in our own skin, to be okay. balance, enjoying the journey. Just go with the flow. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. Balance, and balance is going to be different for everyone, right, Carl? And what's right for you isn't necessarily right for everyone else, and balance is amazing. I like to think that Dawn and I have a really good balance. We're very balanced together. We're very good for each other. We're very committed to each other. We're very different. And yet, so many parts of us complement each other. It's like the perfect fit. It's greatness, yes. I'm going to encourage you today to, number one, be all that you can be. To relax and let it go. Just for today. Just for 24 hours. Make today your yes day, where everything that comes, you just go, oh yes, oh yes, that's lovely. There's something good in all of this. I want you to look for the good in everything, absolutely everything. Yesterday, my grandson was here for the day, and we went out and picked apples off our tree. I did videotape him. I'll have to put it up, and the apples are amazing. There are 2 apples left, which we will have to pick soon. Very grateful to the tree, and I even said to my grandson, you know, we have to say thank you to the tree. He walked up to the tree and said thank you to the tree. I have it on video. It's brilliant, and I will upload it. But it was just amazing to just be in that moment and to be really appreciative of this little tree in the middle of our yard, in the middle of Calgary, for heaven's sake, who has produced apples for us this year. And they were a good size apple and very tasty. My daughter came home yesterday and I said, would you like one? I said, if you'll eat it. And so she pulled it off and she wiped it off. She says, well, look at that. It actually has a natural wax coating, its own protection. Like as she brushed it off, she could see that it had its own natural protection. You know, it doesn't get more organic than the apple on our tree. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, my grandson I said, make sure you thank the tree, because he had taken 2 apples off and he took one in and gave it to Prepare, because he always shares everything with Prepare. He was so cute. I'll tell you, there's nothing connects you more with now than a little 2-year-old who he wakes up happy. He's always happy. I could hear him awake when he woke up from his nap, because I was up in my office, and I could hear him, and I was just quiet, and then I hear, Grandma. That was the cutest thing ever. He was just so happy to see me, and we got up and he could hear, bulldozer, bulldozer. He could hear the bulldozer across the street. He'd been working there for quite a while, and you know, it was just, he's just this world of wonder and awe, and it's pretty awesome to be around him for a day and get to experience that awe. So I'm going to encourage you this next 24 hours to experience the awe. Come back tomorrow and let me know what you saw today. I'd love you guys to come and share a bit of what you experienced today in the looking for the awe. What kind of beauty did you find somewhere you never saw before? Thank you, Carl. I look forward to it. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping my day be better every day I'm here. You guys, I just love you guys. Now, I'm limited on my videos here. For some reason, this is not working the way I want it to work. It's not letting me upload videos. Yeah, it's not letting me play things I want to play. So, you know, here we go. A little bit of Enya. I still love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Remember, look for the awe in everything. Can't wait to hear what you see today. Love you all.